Hi, I'm Tenji. I am an executive coach and a career coach. And today we're talking about brands, big brands. Do they matter? Why do they matter? And with this wave of, increasing focus on startups, startup culture, entrepreneurship, and a lot of people going out on their own, I get clients and, students who I'm advising who are coming out of college asking me, hey, I've got this startup gig, or I could go join JP Morgan. What should I do? Right? And it really depends. I think there is a lot of value. I'm an entrepreneur myself, right? And one can say that makes me also a startup. One day I'm going to be hiring some people who'll be like, ooh, I'm joining this strappy little startup. Should they not join me and instead go and work with Korn Ferry, who is super established, super big, and prevalent in the leadership development space? Hey, right? It could go both ways. Today, I'm just going to focus on the brands and why I think they matter. And this is a great question, especially for people who are in a career transition or starting out their careers and trying to figure out either evaluate different offers or position themselves in the market, or they're taking a look at their CVs, which we should all do periodically, and asking themselves, how does my CV read? So, brands matter. I am biased because this is the philosophy that I used to govern my career for the early stages of my career. I went and I studied at Harvard, and I wanted to go to an Ivy League because it's Harvard, right? Everyone knows Harvard and it's a brilliant school. And then I went and I joined JP Morgan, right? I still applied to South African local banks. Quite honestly, they didn't take me because I had a liberal arts education, so a BA in economics. They looked at it and they were like, so what do you know about finance? And I'm like, nothing, but I'll learn, right? Segue, let's get back to focus. So I did consider many options, but I ultimately joined JP Morgan and did that for a few years, then joined a boutique afterwards, and then went and I started my own business, and then joined McKinsey and stayed with McKinsey for about 5.5 years. And so I've got this peppering of big brands on my CV. And throughout my career, because of the type of work I do as an advisor, I also then have served big brands, right? And so there's this pedigree that comes with my CV, my career, and I curated it very deliberately because that is the strategy I wanted. This is not the strategy that everyone needs in order to be successful, and I want to caveat with that. But let's dive into why I took this approach. So when I was very young starting out, I always felt that a brand would make me stand out. I felt that it would say something about who I am and give me a right to play. And A, it would open doors for me, but B, it would also augment my confidence. From an opening doors perspective, that absolutely happened. I definitely have found that my CV is received more openly, more excitedly on LinkedIn, in, recruiting conversations, because there is the brand serves as a proxy for what I know, what I can do, and the level at which I've played. There's a testament to the training that I've received because those brands are known for excellence in my field. So that's a big caveat. Number one, so let me kind of break down a few things I've said. Number one, big brands open doors. Like it or not, there's a system that we all operate in our careers. It's a capitalist system, the biggest dog wins. If you go work for the biggest dog, you're probably going to get the best opportunities. You're probably going to get the most interesting work. And because you're with these big companies, they're encountering so much more of the professional field that you play in, that more people actually recognize who they are and what you do. There's less of a question of what do you actually do and are you good at it? Because the brand speaks for you. So there's less work that you have to do at the door. So that's why doors open. I think the second thing, and then this speaks to kind of the skills that I was speaking to, is that big brands serve as a proxy for your skill set and your experience. So because I have started my career as an analyst in an investment bank, being JP Morgan, there's this understanding within investment banking circles that I know certain things, right? And I've been trained in a certain way. And I have encountered certain deal complexity, and I bring a certain rigor to the way that I financially evaluate companies. And because of that, there is an understanding of my skill set. Number two, it is not just a perception, it is reality. So I have seen, because I left JP Morgan, then I joined a boutique firm, I saw a difference in the training ground, right? There's just so much more money that was thrown at me very early in my career. And so I was able to go and like learn how to do, merger modeling or like leverage buyouts. And I mean, these are things that many smaller firms don't have the capacity and resources to really train up, their early staff in. So I felt that difference when I worked for a boutique, and it actually it accelerated my growth once I was in the boutique firm, because there were certain things that I could just do faster, right? There were certain opportunities or deals I could be put on because like this, I'm going to get the answer. And so that's something that I always encourage whenever anyone is thinking about very early in their career and they're very set on developing skills. That's when I strongly recommend joining a big brand if you can, because the training is just exceptional. Then there is the added piece on confidence. All right, so I will be very honest, and I've shared this in other platforms for myself, is when I started out my career, I did not have the confidence that I have now. Yes, I'm also many, many years into my career. So that also comes with experience and like seeing yourself perform, seeing your skills and your strengths develop. But really early on, I wasn't sure, even though, yes, I've come from Harvard. Yes, I've, done really well. I still had personal things that I was working through. So there was something about being able to ride on the confidence of a big brand that made me feel a little more sure on my feet. And once I was in the organization and had these demonstrated examples of me doing well, right, my confidence naturally then improved. And so you can say that it's a side benefit, right? But I think it matters. And I think it really helps, especially when, you are unproven, which you are as an unproven asset early in your career. And then if you're also trying to pivot into a completely different field, right, and you don't have confidence in that field, you might be at mid-career, right? A brand can really help, because you go to the brand, you get upskilled, you get to network with other people who are very good at what they do. And as you do so, right, you start becoming the bigger fish, right? Because you're swimming with bigger fish. They're pushing you, they're challenging you, they're demanding a level of intellect out of you that shows you also who you are. And there's something about high performance environments where the bar is so high, right? Because these big brands, they charge big bucks. And if you're going to charge big bucks, it's because you can deliver big stuff, right? And if you can't deliver big stuff, you'd better deliver big stuff and figure it out. And that's the other beauty that comes with working for a big brand. So if you have come into this a career transition or the beginning of your career and you're not really strong on confidence, it can be really wonderful to be in an environment like that, because you step up, right? It's a sink or swim. And obviously you need a baseline level of confidence to go and not sink, right? But once you see yourself swimming, wow, it does wonders for your ego in a really positive and healthy way. And then the last piece is networks. Networks, oh my goodness. The best relationships that I've built for my career have been cultivated from my years in banking and my years at McKinsey. Several of the clients that I now serve, corporate and individual, have come to me through people that I met at McKinsey and at JP Morgan. There's just this sense of, I would say that with these organizations, there's a level of exposure, right? You're playing at a level in your field, right, that exposes you to many more people, right? And so there are these, and the people that you're swimming with, right, are really good, which means people want to know them and are gravitating towards them. And because you're in the vicinity, you become exposed to these people. And then in that environment, they get to see your work and what you're capable of bringing to the table, and then they want to bring you in. So I say that the relationships that you can build at a big brand and the leverage that it can take you out into the world is really wonderful, especially if the brand also has scale, right? So I've worked for global organizations, which means that in many cases, if I can make a point of connection, hi, I'm a Black female. Hi, I've also done a lot of talent strategy work and I'm doing it in Africa and I'm thinking about this. Would you be open to speaking to me, person who is in, Washington, D.C., who also worked for the same global brand and is part of the same alumni network as me, right? So when you're able to now work those powerful alumni networks and use those points of commonality, your reach really expands. And that's been powerful for me as a 37-year-old starting, kind of shifting, right? It's not a huge shift in my career because I did a lot of talent strategy and leadership development work at McKinsey. But as I'm building my career, I'm able to call people up and they'll speak to me. They'll make time and we'll have rich conversations. And next thing, they're introducing me to other people within their networks. So in summary, big brands matter. And if you can leverage yourself into them, I highly recommend it. And think very strategically about a brand that is known for the type of work you want to do. So if you're a marketing person, right, it may not be, it may not mean much for you to go and join, let's say, McKinsey, right, which is a big brand in consulting. Might be better for you to join Procter & Gamble, right? That's known for marketing as the key vehicle to reach customers, or to join, a big advertising house like an Ogilvy, right? Think strategically about who's a big brand in the skill set that you want to develop and join those organizations. Alrighty. I wish you all the best as you finesse your career. Remember, life, career, professions, it's all a game, and you figure out how to play the game. And in this game of our careers, brands matter.